Cryptilians and crypto crackheads, today is Thursday, April 8th, and you're about to get Timified. Hey, new viewers, check it out. You have not seen a crypto YouTube channel like this one before, so I don't read white papers, I don't interview CEOs. All those channels are good and fine. However, they do not help you with when to buy and when to sell. So this channel will help you do two things. First, it will help you be confident when you enter a trade and before you're clicking around with your money, because I know you've had the feeling, if not, it's the majority of the feeling, that when you buy, price drops. When you sell, price goes up, right? I've looked around on Reddit, throughout the last bull market and this bull market, and that's how most retail investors feel because they don't know what they're doing. So if you've had that feeling, tune in because I teach you how to click confidently with buy. That's the main thing this channel does. The second main thing this channel does is it teaches you how to take profits like a boss. If you want to be a profit pimp, not only should you watch this video on ×2 speed, you should go back and watch the last 5, and you can see my calls play out perfectly when no one else on the whole internet was saying what I'm saying multiple days back, even like 2 weeks back. That would be a pretty cool thing to try to do. And you'd be like, holy cow, I am a believer in this technical analysis, dude. But anyway, yeah, you should really try that. But anyway, and also my library videos in the description section, watch those on ×2 speed. If your English isn't, native level speaking, then maybe 1.5 times speed will help you get through. Anyway, noobs and retail investors, don't sell enough. You're scared to sell. I know you are, because you think price will go up after you sell, right? This teaches you how to take profits like a boss. Always be selling at least some portion of your bags with a diversified portfolio, and yeah, and that's how you're going to maximize your gains this year. You're not buying and praying is among the worst strategies out of all strategies in a bull run when everything's up. You might make some money, sure, but so can a chimpanzee. Do you want to make as much as a chimpanzee could? No, you want to make more. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make more. Okay, so no chimpanzees. We're cryptilians and crypto crackheads. So if you like what you see here at the end, hit subscribe. But when you do that, you have to tell me whether you want to be a cryptilian or a crypto crackhead. You have to choose your crypto pronoun. It is in the fine print. Those are the bylaws of this channel. All right, here we go. All right, so Bitcoin is still kind of on its descent down, to where I'm saying, and I want to do one quick update on overall market psychology and market movement, and since the same things happen, I won't focus much time on this today. I'll do mostly altcoins, which my channel goes over mostly small alts, because that's where most of the money is made in crypto, by the way. Unless you're using highly leveraged trading and you're a professional trader, but you're not, so don't do that. You will lose all your money, I promise. You'll think you're a genius first, though. You'll think you're a genius, and then you'll lose it all in about 2 hours. I promise. That's how it works. Maybe 2 days, but anyway, so I'm going to update one thought I had. My 3 most probables of yesterday, I want to flip the order. I think my first most probable, if I can go to the week, I still think it's the same first most probable that Bitcoin will come down and tag its weekly 21 when it's just under this origin line. New viewers, you need to watch my origin line videos in my description section in the library part where it says library. It's like hyper important, like super, and my market crashes video. So anyway, this origin line here, I think that's the most probable. Somewhere about, if it hits next week, which it very much could, it would be around 45,000. If it happens to hit the week after, it'd be closer to 46,000. But I really think Bitcoin next week or the week after will descend and dip under here to hit this line here, and then I think we'll have a pretty good reaction north. And I kind of don't think that Bitcoin will slow down for quite some time, probably not even at 70,000. I think it'll not, once it hits this 21 EMA, it'll have a lot of juice in it because most of the indicators and the moving averages will have caught up. So it'll have a lot of juice to fly past 70,000 in my opinion. But if it doesn't hit this, then it'll probably stutter step at 70,000 and then correct. So that's my first most probable. My second most probable. Yesterday I was saying second most probable is that it stops here at one of these 2 lines. So those 2 lines are at about 54.8 and at about 54.1 because on the 4-hour chart, 2 higher lows have already formed. So if Bitcoin is going to stay super strong, it can prove its strength by, see this low here, the green line's kind of connected at different points. I think Bitcoin might hit this bottom line at 54.1, come right back up, play between these 2 lines, kind of form a just a stair step, and then maybe stair step its way to all-time highs and then really blast off. That's what I see as third most probable, and yesterday I said second most probable. I'm switching my answer for second most probable because I thought about just one simple thought experiment. This channel, allows you to enter trades with the thought process that my trade is statistically the most probable situations among all situations, because I've thought of them all, right? Not 100% of all situations that are less than 1% chance. Those are kind of what ifs. But anyway, so with that thought process, I was thinking during bull runs, a normal correction is between 33 and 38%. Why would it be more probable that a non-normal correction, which would be this, right, which is only like 10%, why would it be more probable that a non-normal correction would happen over a normal correction of 33 to 38%? And so yesterday I said my third most probable is that Bitcoin will correct normally about 35% down to 40K. And look, 35% down to 40K. I think that's the second most probable. I think it's actually much more probable that that happens than Bitcoin makes a higher low here. Much more. Like by a lot. So, if this second most probable situation is like maybe 35% and the first most probable is like 45%, I think this would be 10% chance. I think a higher low up here in the 54 area is it's still double digits, which is still a good chance. But I don't think it's even anywhere close to being as good as a chance as Bitcoin hitting 40,000. Because, think about it. Why would you bet on something not normal that has happened regularly over something that is normal and has happened regularly? So if we go back to the daily chart here and scroll, I always get itchy when I freaking do these videos. I don't know why. Maybe you all staring at your screens, you future viewers are causing me itchies. Maybe future tillions are making me itch since you're watching me in the future from my recording this. Anyway, so if you go back to the daily chart, what you're seeing here is 2017 run. This was the previous all-time high of about 1187. Bitcoin corrected down to its daily 200 and its weekly 21, which were almost the same exact points. Bitcoin not only did not do this, it just flew past without correcting, without resetting its indicators and letting its moving averages catch up. Not only did it not do that this year, but in 2017, it flew up about 162%. This year, Bitcoin has flown up 202%. So this is two reasons why Bitcoin actually might correct a little harder than normal, right? More than 35%, because it didn't allow things to catch up doing this, and it went higher. So with those two things in mind, why the hell would I bet on it correcting less? I think you should bet on it correcting slightly more, right? So, that's my logic. Just look at these corrections. Even though Bitcoin didn't do this type of correction after it broke its all-time high, look, they're right around 30-something%. Look, let's get it right down to it, 33%, 33.27. This one right here. So this is essentially the fractal. So look, see this yellow line? That's the same origin line in the future, and now, current, right? And this is the same line that essentially caused the crash of 2018, because the weekly 10 moving average hit this line and price was under it, and it had to go one way or another, and it went down. And it's also the same line that got the highs at least on the weekly chart of the candles. It got the highs of the run up from 5,000 to the monumental run from 3,200 to 14,000. Look at that. It created the resistance. And that's the same yellow line we're playing with here. See that? All right. So this yellow line's a big freaking deal, yo. Huge. Anyway, so fractal means essentially what happened before will happen again in a very similar way. Not exactly, everything, but it's going to look similar in shape and form and behavior. So what I'm thinking is, since Bitcoin went on an even bigger run than this, flying past its all-time high, okay, I think that Bitcoin not only will do this, come slightly below to meet its 21 moving average. Not only do I think that will happen, but I think it's possible that it dips slightly harder than this right here. So this would be our fractal, something like this, dipping below just a tiny bit, So I'm on the daily chart, so you can't see the weekly 21 there, but this is where the weekly 21 is. And see the percentage here. I think this one was 38. 38.4. The next one, Bitcoin only went on, so from this point here, like the average just in the middle, not from the low point, it went up, it doubled from there, and it corrected again, which is why I kind of think 110 is our next pit stop, right? A double. And then after that pit stop, it's going to go parabolic is what I'm thinking. Even though this year, I think Bitcoin, this after 110 might go sideways longer, because the halvening was a little earlier compared to the previous halvening, and I think Bitcoin actually will have more sideways movement than 2017. Once it hits this 110 peak, the fractal, I'm thinking it'll go sideways for like 3 months, and then scream the hell up, like do a 3 or 4x, like 300,000 to 400,000. But I think we're going to have a lot of boring sideways movement when altcoins are really starting to steal the show then. But anyway, so the percentage drop here, look, 38.5, right? So these are the normal drops. I mean, hell, even this quick drop here. I mean, look, even that's 31%. So I guess it did do it 3 times. I thought it was only twice. I forgot about this one. When was that? November. Yeah, so why would you bet on a less normal dip? I think that, I mean, it's possible. And it is making higher lows, which makes it very possible, but it's far from being the most probable situation. I mean, am I making sense here? Do you, if you see where I might be making a mistake logically, let me know. But I think this is fairly impeccable logic, that in terms of not what will happen, but what is more likely to happen than other scenarios. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So honestly, if you're trying to long Bitcoin right at so let's move it to the weekly. If you're watching my channel thinking you want to long Bitcoin, which is kind of what I want to do, but for Litecoin, I think it's gonna bust. I think it could easily bust right through it. So instead of this is why I wear a hat. I need a haircut. Instead of tapping this 21, I think that the exchanges are going to sell a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of its leveraged coins right at that to knock people out of their longs, because that's what they're doing now per my previous 3 videos. I think they're going to do the same. I think the same play is going to happen. So I might actually shoot low for my longs, and if none of them get hit, I will long the next higher low after Bitcoin and Litecoin and all that are recovering. So if you want to see that on Litecoin, what I think is going to happen on the weekly 21 right now is at 160. So I was really thinking Litecoin would hit 150, but yeah, since it's gone sideways so long, I think it might be more closer to like 170. And which would mean it hits something like right there. Yep. It'll probably stop at those 2 candle heads. So yeah. But if Bitcoin drops down to 40K, this will pierce down. Perhaps as low as in the low 140s. It could pierce just for several hours or a day and then really recover violently up. But I have a feeling the exchanges are going to want to liquidate a lot of people who are longing, or at least stop them out and then allow the normal actual buy pressure to overtake its having sold, which isn't real pressure. It's just, I don't like to say manipulation, because when I buy any coin, I am technically manipulating the market, right? So I don't like to be one of those YouTubers who doesn't understand price at all or trading at all and always says manipulation. But the exchange is using their own Bitcoin to make things go down, is kind of what I anticipate happening. Now, do I think it's most probable? Actually, I do. I think, but by how much, I don't know. I don't know if it'll go all the way to 40,000 or not, but I think it'll make it dip quite a bit. All right, so that's what I have in store for Bitcoin. That's our targets. That's when next week or the week after, I think it'll drop to around 45,000, perhaps as low as 40,000. And I think the third most probable is to make a higher low here on the 4-hour and perhaps charge up to 70K and then have that correction of 33 to 38%. So those are my 3 most probable. 2 what ifs. It turns around right now. And second what if, it drops right now, in 4 days to 40K. Those are what ifs. All right. So let's get on to, let's check out what Ethereum's doing real fast. Let's look at the 15-minute ribbons. I honestly think Ethereum could come all the way down to like 1400. Like, to check this line right here at 1430. Like, that would only be a 30-something% correction, and Ethereum typically corrects harder than Bitcoin. So if you want to look at this, yeah, so the bears have control on the 15-minute. They don't have control on the 30-minute. Okay, so yeah, the bulls are still in control on all time frames above the 15-minute. So, but 15-minute, the bears have control, which means a lot of others are going to start flipping here soon. But really just came up to test horizontal. I mean, that's pretty common play. And it's honestly, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin are going to start really accelerating to the downside. It might have one more bouncy bounce, but I think it could just bust right through it. I mean, I really see acceleration happening quickly here, because all the people who have been bullish on this stuff are going to stop being bullish. And you know how I view things. You have three types of people in crypto. You have your sideliners who are sitting in Tether or just, not trading. No trade's the best trade sometimes. That's those people. You have your buyers and you have your sellers. And I think a lot of people who have been watching YouTubers pounding in their chest, Ethereum to 2800, these people, I think they're getting ready to get worn out, and I think they're going to turn straight into sellers, and they're not going to turn to sideliners first. I think there's going to be a wave that happens all of a sudden without this play and this play like a clock. I don't think that's going to happen. I anticipate this is going to happen. And it's gonna turn the tides really fast, and that's what makes price accelerate to the downside. Especially once Ethereum gets back below 2,000, it's really gonna start accelerating. And when Bitcoin breaks below this horizontal here, I mean, once it breaks 55, honestly, I don't know. Yeah. It might not accelerate till it goes below 54.8. So I think we're going to have a bounce at 54.8. And then once it has another lower high, like just all the other highs. So, Bitcoin, I anticipate will go like this, that, and then really charge down. So let's see what that looks like on the daily. Let's see if I drew that too quick. Oh, no, that's about right. Yep, see, that would line up with this. So, yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to really start accelerating here. And that would put it the third week of April, not the second week of April like I've been thinking. So since Bitcoin went sideways for a week longer than I anticipated, I now up the ante, also for the time frame, and I think it'll be the second week of April or third week of April instead of my previous guess 3 weeks ago, first week of April or second week of April. So pushing it back 1 week, because this is a lot of sideways movement. So that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. All right, so some coins that are really flying. Altcoins are kind of performing here really well. So BPRO, let's start with BPRO. Let's see how good this reaction was or was not. All right, let me turn this, let me get that off. Let me go to see what I drew there. I was thinking it would have a pretty good correction. Let's see if it tagged the weekly 10. That's the weekly 5. I think that's the weekly like 11. So it didn't quite touch it, but it's letting it catch up, which is all that matters. All right, let's look at the reaction off of that on a smaller time frame. Oh, look, isn't that crazy? I drew this yesterday when it was way down here, and it almost did the exact same thing. You're crazy. Can you tell this isn't my first rodeo? That's why I think it's so funny that, like, folks who are new, they come on my channel and just, like, say something like they're a badass. And just because price is saying one thing now, just wait 2 weeks. You're going to see what I'm saying. Like, it's probably going to play. Like, my chance of it playing out, how I'm guessing, is probably a better guess than what you're guessing. It's just, but to be fair, when I was a noob, I was probably one of those people too. So I actually enjoy those people, because some of those people will come back to, actually I've had one come back and say, hey, I said bad things, and now that Bitcoin's actually doing what you're saying, and you were the only one who's saying it, I am a believer now, I will join your Patreon. So yeah, I was one of those people too. So actually, I take that back. I don't. I like those people, because once it finally plays out, because they weren't patient enough, not everything happens tomorrow. They see, and they feel that sting even harder, right? So but I'm really impressed with a lot of my viewers who, just take my probabilities for what they are and kind of like trust them. I'm not one of those people. I'm more stubborn. I like to, I've always been a person who likes to try to reinvent the wheel and, doubt people and be skeptical. And over time, I've stopped doing that so much. And I've learned to, I try to copy people who do well first, like the best in their field. I try to copy their exact methods and then improve from there, instead of reinventing my own freaking wheel like I'm a damn genius. And I'm really surprised that the vast majority of viewers are doing just that. Like, that's very smart. And I am not naturally one of those people, even though over the years I've learned that it's a lot smarter just to emulate the people who are really good at the craft. That's how most of you are doing. So that's really good. But anyway, yeah. So boom, boom, boom. So, if BPRO drops back below here, that'd be bad. That'd mean the news is real. If it hesitates just for a couple hours and then screams up, that's not bad. But if it drops below and isn't aggressive up, that's really bad. Really bad. So, but BPRO's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. So, I mean, everything looks fine to me. I don't think that news is real. I have no concerns over BPRO at all. Actually, I think I would actually start buying the shit out of it right now if I didn't have, a lot of my money already tied up. I'm just kind of holding tether right now and just not even trading. I just think no trade's the best trade right now for me, because I'm so diversified. My account isn't even really going down very much with this fall. So, I mean, as you can see, most of these coins are in the green, and these are a lot of coins I've held. So yeah, I mean, BPRO looks like a freaking great buy right now. It made a higher low. Like, this is good. This is really good. And I bet it screams right past that. I bet it does exactly. It might take longer. It might go like this, that, or something. But I kind of anticipate exactly that's going to happen. But that's only one probable scenario among multiple probable scenarios. I think perhaps, among the three most probable is potentially that it wants to test this line and then scream up. I think that might be the third most probable. Second most probable would be something like this: goes sideways, forms a base, sideways, forms a base, and then screams up. That would actually be pretty healthy, but now that I think people know that this isn't real news, I think it should start screaming up, because remember, the interplay among the three groups of people in any asset that are trading any asset, whether it's the price of black market testicles or, or gold, you have buyers, sellers, and sideliners. And I think that there were a ton of sellers, right? And now those tons of sellers have either turned into sideliners. So the sell pressure stopped, therefore price was able to move up. And now those people who were sellers who have turned to sideliners, I think any minute now when they see confidence here, I think they're going to turn right back into buyers, and that's what that means. So that's the market psychology behind what I think is exactly about ready to happen on BPRO. I think it's going to complete the circle. And, if you're smart, you might become a part seller once BPRO screams up to this trend line up here. And so the height of which it will hit on a nice run, and honestly, it might turn into a range instead of a run up. It might just keep ranging around, 3.5 cents, somewhere around here. It might play a perfectly sideways range for the entire month, exactly like I said almost a month ago. After it hit this line. And then a bunch of people came on my channel like, you're wrong. BPRO's already going back up. And I was just like, just wait a few hours, you freaking crackheads. Jeez. Y'all need to be more patient. Shit does not happen next day. Don't always have to be trading. The only trading I've done recently is freaking getting my ass handed to me trying to program some robots that trade profitably as Bitcoin goes down. I've been getting red dildos up my bunghole, but I think I've got them calibrated, and I think I'm going to be able to serve my Patreon community pretty freaking well. because I've been spending some sleepless nights on those sons of bitches, and I've lost like several $1,000s trying it because I'm too stupid to use paper trades. I want to see it and feel it. So, you know, and I'm a real believer in that. The more you feel the sting, the more you're not going to re-feel it. Like the more you're going to learn from it. So that's why I chose to experiment with my real money. I mean, and I've lost quite a bit. I thought I was a genius for a minute as Bitcoin was retesting its prior highs. Everything was green. I was making like 20% profit, 10% profit, 5% profit on every single closeout trade. And now I'm getting chipped away like negative 0.75, negative 2. It's just, yeah, I've been getting screwed pretty bad. But I think I've got it recalibrated for my, and so I want to be ready with that by May. So that's why I'm spending, you know, countless hours doing that, because that's going to be one of the biggest values, Patreon community, that I could provide to you is, you know, breakout alerts. And you know, to supplement what you're doing on your Discord channels, your private channels. So anyway, all right, MTV, strong reaction. Is it ready to bust out and make new highs? I would guess not, just by guessing, but let me actually put some technical analysis behind what I'm saying. No, I don't think it'll bust out. This got too hot. But it could. I mean, the weekly RSI is still like way up there. But just on a percentage basis, it went up. No, the 2-day saying it does want to make new highs. Huh. The 2-day RSI not only is above this green line, which means newer highs will be made. Not only that, and not only is it above its moving average, but when it checked down, it's so strong that it didn't even need to check it. It just like said, hey, do I need to check this? Nah, I still got juice. Boom. Honestly, the 2-day with the weekly is saying it's getting ready to bust up. But we haven't looked at the lower time frames, right? So if all the lower time frames are in unison saying something opposite, a lot of times that's what flips. Kind of like how my ribbons flip sometimes, you know, bullish, bearish. That's what causes those to flip as well. So let's look. Let's keep going down the time frames. Daily it's below its moving average. It hasn't been rejected yet, and it's above the green line, and so is the moving average. I don't know. I don't think the lower time frames can overpower those three together. I don't think it's possible. 4 hour already filled up its gas tank. Guys, this is going to make newer highs. This is going to make newer highs. So this is not going to range. I apologize. This is going to come up to that line. It's like, this is a strong move, people. Wow. Yeah, I think it's going to test its all-time high. Or, well, not technically its all-time high. That's way up here, but I think this is about ready to test this line here. So let's see what percentage basis that would be from current price. So that's only 25%. It'll bust through that. That's 50. Yeah, it'll probably come up and test this. But the chance of it being rejected off this line, which is almost exactly a penny. So not only is a penny a psychological number, but that's where its candles have been closing at the beginning of its price history. So yeah, it's going to get rejected hard from there, and it'll probably do a pretty hard rejection. Actually, it's probably going to have a big, so this is good. This is a lot of money making potential, what I'm about ready to show you. And it's probably about ready to happen. Big rejection. It'll try to prove strength here, might go up maybe. And then, it'll probably, I don't know if it'll come all the way down here though. Hold on. Let me see. Let me check the percentages here. Yeah, it will. Yep, it'll probably come right back down here. Yeah. And then you can play a range where you can double your money. Watch. So a 50% drop down means when you catch it there and you buy it at the same point up, that's double your money, right? 50% down is 100% up. Math. Double your money. So you can probably double your money like at least, well, I would say at least once in this range that will probably form. Maybe twice. But typically, you know, sometimes the second time will either go up slightly higher or the second time will go slightly lower. It's just, so rarely does it come up the exact amount because the market psychology of sideliners, buyers, and sellers, it's just these three groups, just the way people become buyers and sellers and interact, it just rarely aligns with the same exact height. it typically takes going like this for a lot of buyers to become sellers and take it back down. And so it rarely hits the same height. So I don't think it'll tag this line again. So so if you can buy it here at current price action after it hits the top line at 0.005, you might try stratifying your limit sells. And so new viewers, stratify orders is in the description section. You might have a big range. You might, try selling, 10% there, 10% there, 10%, not 10% of all of your MTV, but whatever portion you want to sell. You might want to split it up into 5 or 6 different, tiers, and kind of hover it around this penny mark. And actually you might want to do that. You could possibly do that the first time too, but I wouldn't stratify it the first time so large, because it's very probable that it hits this penny and gets rejected. And honestly, if anything, it'll spike through it. So I would actually straddle kind of high here and then straddle high and low on both sides, just depending on whether this spiked through or not. If it does spike through, then this will probably stay a little lower than that. If this does not spike through, then the second one probably will. And so you can kind of play your second limit sell range based off of what the first pop-up does, whether it spikes above or not. Yeah, so I will actually leave those lines there. Okay? Because something like that will probably be pretty close to playing out. Buy a coin. What are you doing, bro? You're not supposed to be this strong. Oh, no, you're still below my areas. Okay. Yeah, so like I was telling my Patreon community in live chats, I said when price was way down here, I said, yeah, Viacoin might go up before it goes down, just like Litecoin, because it kind of moves like Litecoin. And I said, I would try selling around these 4 areas, and look what happened. I actually was a little low. And that's when it was at $1. I think it was sitting at $1.39 when I said that, or $1.40, something like, and maybe $1.49. It was about here. And I said, yeah, you might be safe selling out, but you might also try limit selling up here and then try to catch some down at $1.20 or $1.03, something along those lines where these lines. So this line here is $1.20. This line here is $1.03. This line here is 95 cents. One of these two are the most top 2 probable, or top 1 and top 2. I don't know which one it'll be. I would guess the middle one, but gosh, Bitcoin's really strong. It might only come down to $1.20. So when you're catching the dip on, when you're buying back Viacoin, you might just, and it might even have a bouncy bounce here, go like this, and then come down, right? So it'll be tricky to catch it at the right spot. But regardless, as long as you sold profitably and you buy back lower, don't be mad if you end up, snagging all here and it comes down lower. You still are at a huge profit. You sold at a profit and bought back lower. Now you have more Viacoin because you sold and took profits like a pop. Take profit like a pop. Take profits like it's hot. What is that, Snoop Dogg? Take profits like it's hot. Oh, I see music videos coming for this channel. That would be pretty good. That was accidental. Interesting. I might have to keep that because I am planning music for this channel because I'm a musician and a vocalist. So, and I got some band buddies who are ready. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, profits like it's hot. All right. Anyway, profits like a boss. And so you're still profit pimping, so don't be mad, like, and Veracity holders, if you sold around the point that I suggested that I personally would sell, because I don't give financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but Veracity people, that's the same concept, because Veracity will end up coming down below the point where I suggested that I personally would sell. It's going to happen. You just got to be patient. I think there is a less than 10% chance that I end up being incorrect and that Veracity's buy strength overpowers its sell strength, but it already almost came down to it. It's going to make a lower high and come all the way down here at minimum, which is 2.7 cents. It's going to hit this line, and it could hit the next line below it, which is, let me look at the daily. Hold on. No, yeah, it would hit this line here. There's nothing stop. I mean, yeah, because there's a wick here. Yeah, it could stop at these 2 wicks. Actually, I take that back. Those wicks could form support. And the next one's this one. So it's going to hit one of these 3 lines. And what? All 3 of them are under the point where I said I would sell. Personally, not you. Yeah, so you're going to be able to buy back lower with like a 90% probability. So just chill. Just chill. You sold profitably like a boss. You will be able to get more veracity because you sold veracity. You trade profitably over time as opposed to attempting to sell perfectly every time, because you're fooling yourself if you say, oh, I don't want to sell because veracity might go a little higher. Who cares? You can't sell tops. Stop it. Okay, so if you have that feeling, okay, I want you to do a mental exercise here, just an exercise, okay? So take your hand and just like stare at, like the palm area of your hand, okay? Try that if you ever get that feeling, okay? And then slap yourself with it, okay? And then you should stop having that feeling. I do that to my kids all the time when they're confused about something. I say, hey, okay, take your hand. And now whenever I say it, they just roll their eyes because they already know what I'm going to say, obviously. Silo, I've done this on live chat. So, I mean, you all have seen what's going on here. So Idea and Silo are doing the same exact thing. This is an all-time high breakout, and they're both doing the same thing. They're testing their previous highs. They're probably going to do it several times as Bitcoin's falling. There's a good chance both of them fall down below it for a hot minute like this wick here. For Idea and Silo to both do something similar, like come all the way down to where the candle bodies were. See, just like that. See, it already wicked down. I think it could do that again, and that's all the way down at 47, just like 47.2 cents. On Idea and Silo, that would be... is there any weekly candles lining up? Yeah. Okay, Silo could easily come here. Right. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, actually, I think Silo will break down below that just for a minute and tag this line, which is 0.00622. I think it's probable, actually. But I don't think it'll stay down there and, like, reform support. I think it'll pop like that. And it could happen next week. It could like that, and then bam. Just to prove that, nope, I don't need this as support. I need this as support. That, it's going to prove itself. And what that'll do is it'll make a lot of sideliners and potentially sellers become buyers like that. And that would actually make both of those coins scream. If it can actually poke below this and say, nuh-uh, this isn't my support level, this is. And then both sellers and sideliners will become buyers for both those coins, and it should fly hard. When both of those groups become buyers at the same time, and then similar play on Bolt, but Bolt is playing under its all-time high. But I think the same concept will happen. Both groups will become buyers at the same time, and it's going to make it fly. It's going to make it fly hard. You got your weekly indicators catching up. See, this is the weekly. Weekly 10 is here. So I think the weekly 10 is the middle one, the pink one. All right. And then Tone's playing a range. It's going to range out as Bitcoin's falling. The range here is 5 zeros, 14.2, and the bottom of the range is 6 zeros, 83.40. All right. OLT, is it breaking out yet? Yes. Let's see. Let's go down. Okay. So OLT's weekly ribbons just flipped. That's really strong. Like, that's a potentially very, very, very strong move. And the daily long-term ribbons are flipping too. So like this, guys, this one could really fly. It's a small cap too. I think right now it's like 7 million cap. Active dev team. It's just hasn't been on the radar of any, big YouTubers yet. So I don't know jack shit about the project. I won't lie. It's just the chart says it's screaming buy, and it's screaming like it's going to do like a 300% run. So taking profits like a boss, honestly, you'd be somewhere up here. And I think that's a 200 something% run, which is triple your money. Nope, it's 2.6x your money. So it's 162%, which is 2.6x your money. I think it might actually bust through there. I take that back. I think it could run all the way up here. You know what? I missed this. So that would be weekly wicks is what I wasn't considering. Yeah, I actually think it can run all the way up there. You know what? And that would make it closer to triple your money. Or no, yeah, 200%. Yep, triple your money. All right, yep. So that level up top would be 5 zeros, 15.50 or so. And the bottom one, the bottom top one, where it could get rejected, but I think it'll spike through it, is 5 zeros, 13.44. It's a pretty big range, but I think it's getting ready to fly, folks. It's getting ready to fly. But do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is me providing educational and entertainment for you. This is my interpret on stuff, and do not base your buying decisions off of my opinions, because I'm not a financial advisor. But my calls have been pretty decent lately since I started YouTubing. All right. Anyway, yeah. So CV is getting ready to get rejected hard. And I even yeah. So if you got into CV early, yeah, you might want to take a look at the daily chart or even the weekly where all these candles line. It ain't gonna pass that quickly. Not on first try, it won't. And I bet it doesn't even wick much past it. It's going to get rejected hard, and it'll probably take like 3 chances to get above that. Hey, 𝐿Q finally broke above that. Good job, 𝐿Q. Yeah, so this is a blue sky breakout. It could fly, but I think it's more likely it'll be a failed breakout, just like this will turn into a silo and an idea. However, it might not. So let's take a look at the RSIs, how much gassed. So RSI is kind of like your gas gauge, right? So the daily RSI... that is not out of gas. The weekly RSI, that is not out of gas either. I don't know. That did not get rejected. Okay, so I think the play to tell whether, so 2 hour on 𝐿Q. The way you're going to be able to tell is if the 2 hour gets stuck below its moving average, like so. So you want to be looking at the 2 hour if you want to see if this is going to be a failed breakout on 𝐿Q or not. If something like this happens, it's going to be a failed breakout. It's going to come back down to its all-time high, which is this green line right at a dime, almost exactly a dime. Yeah, I you know what? Even though the daily, 2-day, and weekly look like they're hot, Bitcoin's coming down. I think the lower time frames are going to overpower the higher time frames here. This is just what happens. The failed breakouts are more common when Bitcoin's going down. All right. So now I'm on 𝐿, ranging. Oh, isn't that crazy how it hit the exact line? Profits like a boss. Take profits like a boss. All right. Look at that. Bam. Exactly. So yeah, it's going to range for a while. So nothing exciting with 𝐿. DAPPT, it's going to be probably a range. So DAPPT, lump that in with Silo, lump it in with what I think 𝐿 will end up doing. What did I say? Silo, idea. Yeah, so those three are all going to behave the same. And the breakout point to which I think it should retest. And actually, it could come down to retest both of the, like one of these two. So each of these are kind of probable, either right at 0.004 or 0.00453. So somewhere around there, it might stay strong above 0.00453 because it's already tested it twice. But the weekly says all it needs to do is touch that moving average. So you know what? This might stair step. I take that back. This one has a good chance of not coming back down. DAPPT. This looks like it wants to stay above it. Yeah, it actually, you know what? I don't think this one's going to come back down. Well, the daily is below. Hold on. I don't know what's going to happen. The 4 hour really reset. I mean, look at this 4 hour. It stopped at the gas station for quite a while. I think it's a 60-40 chance. I think it's a 60% chance it's going to poke its head above and stair step like this. I think this one's going to start stair stepping. So it's not going to scream, but it's going to go floom, 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 floom. And I'll actually leave that there just to see what happens. Something like that will happen. I think that's most probable. Actually doing what it's doing now, but higher highs. I don't think it's going to come back down and hit this line, but I think it's very possible. 40% chance maybe. Let's put 40%. Okay, just for future reference, see what actually happens. And I'll put 60% up here. Just to mark my words, okay? All right, here we go. Cap is playing a huge range, folks. This is a lot of wealth building potential here. It's 100% up and down. So right now it's in the middle of the range. No trade zone. But if you want to try catching this sucker at, I think that's 703, right at 703. It might be 6 zeros. It looks like 7 though. Looks like a good range to play. This one just got too aggressive, folks. I don't want to take guesses on this one. This is too much volatility. When this much volatility happens, I stay out of it until it settles down. I don't know what this one's going to do. I think it would be gambling, no matter what you guessed. I don't think I can confidently say what's most probable here. That's a lot of volatility. That really screamed up and screamed down. I honestly, I think the best trade is no trade on this. Even though it looks like you can scoop up some cheap Cero, but I don't know. That's even though volatility equals money, but sometimes there's a threshold for, like diminishing returns threshold. 4-hour daily. Yeah, this one's going to come back down. What is this? MAP? Yeah, MAP's going to come back down to this line. Almost like 90% chance. So yeah, this one's out of gas completely. It's getting ready to get rejected from its moving average RSI. And honestly, it might come down slightly below that to one of these levels. Somewhere about... I think there are 3 possible ranges. I think it could stop there. And it might dip down as low as that guy at that wick there, which lines up with these wicks here. Yeah, so depending on how hard MAP falls, it'll probably dip down to one of these 3 levels. I would say what is that level at? I would move this up. Right there. Yep, to one of these 3 levels. So the lowest level for a good scoop is 0.0075. The middle one is... Wait, did I say 00? No, 0.077. Top one is, or the middle one is 0.088. The very top one is a dime. So I don't think it's going to stop at a dime. I think that's the 3rd most probable. Gosh, because it's going to reset pretty. I think actually the bottom one's the most probable. So, but I don't think it'll come down this low. Let's actually measure because a 40 to 60% correction is most common in alts. Let's measure out 50%. Oh, yeah. This bottom one. I take that back. The bottom one is not the most probable. The top one might be the most probable. So I take that back. Let's see how big of a push that was. Hold on. If it was a monster push, then actually it should correct 60+%. So let's measure. Is this filling up its gas tank? Started using its gas there. Oh, yeah. Shoot. No wonder my account was screaming several days back. It's because I bought this. That's 11x run. Hell yeah. Woo! Congrats to all of us who bought that early. Yeah, so it's probably going to hit this bottom line. So the higher the run, the more severe the dip. It's probably going to correct 60 to 70%, which is the bottom line 65%. So if you want to scoop some more. So when a coin is on an all-time breakout, let's see if my lines on the BTC pairing align. Okay, ready? What do you think? Do you think my lines on the Bitcoin pairing align with where it topped out? Or just slightly below it? Let's see. Watch me not even have any lines. I don't know. I'm doing this on the fly. Like, I don't plan my videos. I literally just sit down and start talking about cryptocurrency. I didn't have any lines set. Damn it. Okay, well, whatever. Let's see where let's see if it stopped at anything logical. So new viewers, this is what you do. You sit here and you say to yourself, where do a bunch of wicks on the weekly? So you click the W and you look at the Bitcoin pairing, because the Bitcoin pairing typically dominates where stuff taps out on a run. Okay? Because the chart goes higher there. Because Bitcoin's been going up and the dollar hasn't. So a lot of coins are above their all-time high on the dollar, but not on Bitcoin. So therefore, it's easier to know when to sell on the Bitcoin pairing, right? So I'm on the Bitcoin pairing. I would have made... there's a lot of wick. This one's kind of hard to gauge. Maybe right there. Something like that. And folks, I know I can make horizontal blue lines, but I don't like doing that. I like to know exactly why I made the lines, okay? So I understand, you know, I might be spending more time than I need to, but actually it saves me time. Because when I look back on my trades, I know why I put it there. This one would have been really hard to guess, actually. This one would have been hard to guess where to sell. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I would have thought it. I mean, honestly, I would have probably tried to sell way down here. That's a really aggressive run. I would have guessed this line right here. So how much percentage would I have been missing out? But look, I easily would have been able to buy back. See that? I would have been able to buy it back much lower. So it still would have been a good trade. So that's what I'm talking about with veracity, people. This is the same exact thing. I would have sold here, but I would have been able to buy back here. Does this make sense? This is what veracity's doing. It will do this. I'm telling you. So this is why, like, you know, veracity people, you shouldn't come on my channel, be a hotshot, because the chance of you end up being wrong, but just a little later than you think you're going to be wrong, is very high. I'm telling you, I am like I've done this a few times. Okay. Now, am I always right? No, but I have house odds, like, because I've seen price move so much on altcoins. Like I just have studied this so long. It's like watching a snake, you know. A snake expert knows how, like, one snake moves differently than the other, you know, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? So I know how different animals move. Yeah, so I would have been able to buy back, and that's what's going to happen on veracity. I would have sold a little too low, but who cares? I trade profitably over time, not perfectly every time. You can't trade perfectly. You're fooling yourself, right? And then I would have bought it back lower. All right. I can't even remember what how I got off on that tangent, but oh yeah, seeing if I would have sold at the right spots. I would have sold too low, but I would have been able to buy more because I sold MAP. If you like MAP, you sell MAP. If you like Cardano, you sell Cardano. Profits like a boss. Okay. Cannot say that enough. You have to be selling a lot if you're going to make money. Stop buying and praying, people. You have to stop it. And it's so easy to know when to sell. Go to the freaking Bitcoin pairing on the week, start drawing some freaking horizontals, and just use the measuring tool, draw up over 100% and start, you know, guessing which one it's going to hit. That's it. And sometimes you can draw up 100% from current price, not even like down low, just from current price. So you double your money at least, right? That got hot. I don't even know. I don't want to guess on this one because it got too hot too fast. I kind of would stay out of this one, even though I'm kind of holding this one. So I bet it wants to come down lower. That's only 40%. Let's see how hot it ran. Hold on. Well, no, it formed a base here. So that's not that much, is it? Nah, yeah, that's done. So it's come down 40% after 300 something around. Yeah, that's the bottom of it. Most likely. Yeah, that's it. So let's make our line there. Right there. It might test a little lower. It could. Honestly, I think it should test this line right here. I bet it comes down to test that, which would give it probably between a watt percent and watt percent correction, between a 40 and a 60. Let's see. 45.5. Booyah. See? Shit repeats itself. Boom. All right. I think I got to be done. I got to wrap up. So there was a couple coins that like everybody wanted me to do. Tomo or Toko or I don't know, something that I'm not in. It looks strong. It looks like it's going to keep stair-stepping. That's not out of gas on the weekly. It's not out of gas on the daily. It looks like it wants to keep going up. 4 hour. Yeah, this is going to keep going up. This is going to make new highs. Now, is it going to scream? No, but I think it's going to like stay like this for a little bit. This one's going to be ignoring Bitcoin. Whatever's happening with this is very healthy. And this is not a YouTuber shilling it. This is like, this is a base of people, like a group of people. So maybe they're like sideliners or whatever, but you know, they're not sideliners. They're a fan base who knows something good about this coin, so it's like a group of people, you know, it could be hundreds of people or so that don't know each other and they don't know how to communicate with each other, but they all know something similar and they're all pitching in, I mean, not pitching in, but they're all, you know, chipping in part of their paychecks weekly or biweekly or monthly. And that's what happens there. And then none of the people who hold this Tomo chain, or Tomo, whatever this is, there aren't many sellers. And so there's just some constant group of buyers just chipping in, and that's what causes this. So these people here know something I don't know. And I wish I would have known it down here because I would have bought it. And probably if I knew what they knew, I'd probably buy a little bit every little bit. But yeah, this has got a lot of juice and it's not slowing down, whatever the hell that is. So, but I know nothing of the coin and this is not financial advice. But it's a damn good, this might be among the healthiest charts I've seen in a long time. It looks real. So no wonder people are talking about it. So if you could leave me a comment below, what's going on with that? That's way better price action than what Veracity has had. Veracity got way hot, way fast. That shit's healthy. So if you can kind of help it make sense in the comment section, that'd be great. What was another one everybody's talking about? DGTX, something like that. A lot of people have been, yeah, this is too hot. Yeah, I would absolutely not get in this. Yeah, no way. This is going to range. I mean, this is going to go between here and here. But this is a hell of a range, though. Well, no, it's 4 hour just broke above. The daily's above. This one's hard to tell. I think this could go either way. This could start stair-stepping. This has the ingredients to do it. Just like Tomo was doing. So it's in a no trade zone between these two lines anyway. But if you see it close a 4 hour candle above this, that means it's going to start stair-stepping. I can't tell right now, though. So, you know, I personally would not enter the trade simply because I don't feel that I have house odds on what's going to happen. Now, if I had already held DGTX earlier, would I sell like a 20 bag here or 20% of what I hold on it? Probably, yeah. Because the chance that it falls down is about 50%. And if you're, now will it fall down 50%? I don't know how much of a percent that would be. 24. So if it falls down 24, that means you 1.5 extra money on, a little less than 1.5 extra money on the way up. And it could actually fall down here. So, but that looks like a strong base. So yeah, that's not a very profitable range. So maybe I wouldn't 20 bag this. What do you want? I don't know. This one's a hard call. I'm not a holder of it, so I'm having trouble thinking of what I would do. I personally, if I held this, I don't think I would 20 bag this line. I would err on the side of bullishness on this one, only because this range is pretty tight and it would not be profitable even if you were correct. It's just the low level of profitability of being correct, I think, is not weighty enough. It just doesn't give enough reward for the risk that it could go up. You see what I mean? So the risk does not, the risk outweighs the reward to try to play that. And the reward outweighs the risk if you lean bullish. So I would err on the side of stair-stepping bullishness. Okay. That's a hard play though. I honestly, I can't give you, I don't feel like I have house odds on any, but that's my analysis of that. GOM2, whoever's holding that had a horrible correction. Yeah. It's at the bottom of the range, but, this is weak. This is among the weakest coins on a graph that I've ever seen. So, all right. So let's take a look at Bitcoin one more time. Wrap up this bizotch. Let's try to look at a really low time frame. So the way I have this set up, I kind of have it set up to where my ribbons are what I stare at, and price is actually more like my stochastics. So if I can erase Wrong one. Get rid of that. Yeah. And honestly, I can get rid of price. See? Okay. Yeah. I kind of like staring at it like this. So this is the 5-minute chart, but technically these ribbons are more like looking at a 2-hour. Okay. So just kind of look at the patterns here. Bulls in control, indecisive, bulls in control, a lot of sellers, indecisive, bulls in control, but weekly. That's why I could tell it's running out of gas. This is very weak. They gained control, but weekly. You can see it here. Look how obvious that is. And then bulls tried to catch, again, it's even weaker. So it was so obvious that this was going to drop, right? And then when the bulls gained control again, it was much weaker than it was here. Even so, does this not make this obvious? Do you see what I'm seeing? Or am I just like, I don't know. Can I actually see the future? This is what I'm seeing. Like, it's just very clearly. And honestly, it looks very clear that the bulls are out of gas again. I think they're getting ready to peter out. And what I drew here, the squiggly line, I think it's about ready to freaking happen. Look. I think it's pretty clear. Now, the 2-hour chart though, I want to flip this around a little bit. Yeah, so on the 2-hour chart, the bulls are still in control, but they're getting ready to lose it. Look. All right, 1-hour chart, bears are in control. And I think they're going to keep control. I think the 1-hour chart on here is the play. I think it's going to squeeze, and all of them are going to converge, and then it's going to, and then I think it's going to break down. I think that's going to be the play. So mark my words for, the upcoming videos. I might actually have to do videos over the weekend because I think price could accelerate down potentially over the weekend, even though weekends are typically boring. But since this is compressing now, so see how on the 1 hour, so I think the 1 hour is the play on this. You see how price or these compressed here and then it's shot up, right? And then it compressed here and it shot down. See that? Yeah, the 1 hour is a good judge here. And then it flipped. The ribbons flipped. So they were compressing, then they flipped. They're compressing and they're gonna flip. Yeah, this is getting ready to accelerate down, folks. Yeah, and I bet you on the 30-minute chart that the bulls never take control, and if they do, it's only a blip. Kind of like this. See this blip here? See this blip right there? That might happen, but actually, I doubt it happens. I bet it doesn't get above this red line like that. I bet it does not happen. I think the bears are in full control of Bitcoin right now. Yeah, and I think a lot of buyers who are hopeful of Bitcoin still going up after a quick dip, I think they're going to run out of juice, and I think the sellers are going to overtake them by a long shot. I think Bitcoin's going to start accelerating down, folks. It might take an entire week because everything's been going slower than I thought. So, like, per my thoughts of, you all need to be more patient, this and that. Perhaps I haven't been patient enough with Bitcoin, but I mean, just look at this though. How it accelerated quickly down. So look how it flipped and then it made a hump. So the ribbons flipped here, right? The bears got in control and then it made one quick effort and then it accelerated down. Look, it flipped, one little push and two little push. Gosh. It might wait to accelerate down until Sunday at 8 p.m. New York time or Great Britain time. That would be 4 a.m. in the morning. So I think the time British people are going to work on Monday morning, I think Bitcoin will be accelerating down quickly, or just beginning to accelerate quickly. It might not happen until the weekly close. Let's see what the 2 day's doing. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with this, folks. Oh no, I don't have price on here. Yeah, this is getting ready to start going down pretty fast. So can you see how the acceleration on the 2 days, small candle, big candle, right? I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's going to accelerate like it did here. And then we'll have a green candle or two. Once it hits this line on the 2-day, you might have something like a red candle, or wait, big red candle, green candle 2-day, and then red candle down to the weekly 21. I think something like that might happen, which is kind of what I drew over here, but I should erase these because you know, it's too early. I was too impatient. I still think the same thing will happen, but delayed a little bit. So yeah, I think this is the new play here. Let me go ahead and erase these guys. All right, let me keep these lines here like that. Let me make these a little straighter here. Will it have a green day? I don't know. I actually kind of don't think so. I don't think it'll have a 2-day green. I think something like that's going to happen. And then maybe have a tiny red day here, a 2-day. So these are each 2 days. Oh, wait, it turned that wrong color. Bastard. Thank you. All right. And then maybe like something like that. And then this would be like that. Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I'm going to leave that there. Take a snapshot. Frame it. No, frame it if it actually happens pretty close to that. We might have a green 2-day candle somewhere here, but I kind of doubt it. I feel acceleration's coming. Oh, so what would that put us at? The 3rd week of April, see? I think that's about right. Yeah, I think I should have started the video off with this. I think this is what's going to happen, folks. I'm going to post this on Twitter just to record this in history. All right, I think you just got Timified. I'm getting ready to have a lot of noise anyway. Perfect timing. And new viewers, if you liked what you saw, please go watch my previous videos on ×2 speed. Start with my library and then look at like my previous like 10 videos. You're just kind of whiz through them so you can see that I was calling this crap before it happened and no one else was on the whole internet. Trust me. And then let me know if you're a cryptillion or a crypto crackhead. You just got Timified.